Hello everybody, my name is Mohannad Tashli. I'm a PhD student at Virginia Commonwealth University, United States. My presentation is about the investigation of soft magnetic material cores in transcranial magnetic stimulation coils and the effect of changing the coil shape and material on the induced electric field in small animals. So the outline of my presentation will be as follows. I'm going to introduce you to TMS. I'm going to show some TMS coils, the methodology of our work, some simulation results, magnetic measurements of some materials, summary, and future work. Transcranial magnetic stimulation is a safe, effective, and non-invasive treatment for several psychiatric and neurological disorders. Currently, it's an FDA-approved treatment for depression, smoking cessation, and OCD. TMS uses an electromagnetic signal targeting specific region of the brain to treat these brain disorders. So we are looking to prevent these undesired brain stimulations by making these electromagnetic signals target specific neurons in the brain with a specified threshold magnetic field amplitude and induced electric field. So here is some coils which is previously available. The first one is a MagStim coil, which is a figure of 8 coil, which is designed for humans to treat depression. The second one is a study on how to enhance the focality of TMS coils, which is meant for small animals, which is the angle-tuned TMS coil, as shown in figure 2, to enhance the focality and penetration depth. So we will be introducing ferromagnetic cores into TMS coils and compare different ferromagnetic core shapes and materials to be used in TMS coils. So we start our work by doing some simple life simulations for a rat head model using different core geometrical shapes. Then we tested some of these core shapes using a hollow probe and measured the magnetic field generated by it. Then we proposed different materials to be used as cores in TMS coils after doing some VSM measurements. So to start with, we used a rat brain head model developed in our lab previously by our colleagues. In order to use it in our simulations, we started by collecting the MRIs of the rat, then the process of generating the rat head model, starting with the segmentation, STL generation, STL refinement, then they use it in the finite element softwares. In figure 5, we can see the rat head model, which has different brain segments: the skin, skull, gray matter, white matter, and CSF. So the current was set to 1000 amps at 2.5 kilohertz in our simulation using the software mentioned before, Simple Life. We used a coil with 40 turns, and the material for the core was the carbon steel AISI 1010 with a relative permeability of 667. Figure 7 shows different material properties of the rat brain segments, the mass density of these segments, relative permeability, electric conductivity, and relative permeability, permittivity, sorry. And figure 8 shows a different coil configuration to be used in our simulations. Here is a better view of the coil configurations. We have the inverted tip core, cylindrical core, the flat tip core with a reduced diameter, and the V-tip core. So we can see here our simulation results. The V-tip core achieved the highest focality, which is the column D, compared to the other cores with the highest magnetic field. And here is some analysis on these results. We can see the V-tip core, which is represented in the green graph right here. It has the narrowest x coordinates at the surface of the gray matter, which represents the highest focality between other cores. So we did some magnetic field measurements of the some of the cores presented previously using a Hall probe. We used a stimulator that is previously published by our collaborators and connecting it to the coil, which has the ferromagnetic core. We used the V-tip core and the cylindrical core, and measuring the magnetic field using a Hall probe. So the magnetic field measurement coincides with what we said in the simulations. We had the highest magnetic field using the V-tip core compared to the cylindrical core at right below the coil and at 2 millimeter depth below the coil. Here are some of the materials that we studied to be used in the TMS coil as a core: the carbon steel, permander, which is iron cobalt vanadium alloy, and manganese zinc ferrite for its high saturation and a high relative permeability. And we did some VSM measurements on these materials to validate its high saturation, which is shown in these figures. The exciting news is that we have found MAPs in the hand lip EMG when stimulating the motor cortex of the rat, and we can see that in the this graph, the MAP followed by the artifact. So here is some coils or future designs we are working on and we are currently studying in order to get a better focality of the TMS coils. So to sum up, the V-tip core was the most efficient core compared to the other cores used in this study. We compared different core materials and we suggest that permander would be the best core materials to use. And we have found MEPs in the Hendem EMG when stimulating the motor cortex. With this, I would like to thank you for your listening and see you at the summer school.